Let me begin by expressing my deep appreciation to the University of Toledo, particularly to the law school at the university. The university trained us and has continued to follow our progress, supporting us, encouraging us to be even more than we can be. In 2005, the University of Toledo considered me worthy to be honored with 9 world-changing leaders. And today, once again, it decided to honor me as a distinguished alumnus of the university. I am a proud graduate of the great University of Toledo. I thank and I salute the great workers, the teachers, the faculty, the professors, and the leaders of the university. I was born in a small town in Nigeria on September 30, 1950. 1 year after I was born, I lost my father. My mother, not educated, but valued education greatly as she made all effort to go to school, considered it her life's priority to educate me. My mother believed that if you have no education and you have money, those who have education and knowledge will help you to spend it. And she encouraged me to pay much attention to learning. I went to primary school in my village and thereafter proceeded to attend a secondary school in my village. But I was fortunate to be trained by one of the world's greatest men, a British Italian, the son of an Air Force general who abandoned wealth, the world, and wife to dedicate all her life to training her children, all of us, to become more than we can become. Goy Gajilo exposed us to great possibilities in books through the distinguished library he established. This was my first contact with what America was, the great America, where great things were possible. I then developed interest in going to university in the United States. In September, in 1972, precisely, I left Nigeria. I believe it was on March 17, 1972, to go to Ohio State University. I graduated from Ohio State University in 1975 for my first degree and then proceeded to get my master's degree. Thereafter, I wanted to become a lawyer. Encouraged by my uncle, who was then a professor of anthropology at Ohio State University. I then applied to a number of schools, and I was fortunate to be admitted by the University of Toledo. The University of Toledo is a very interesting and rewarding university. From the very day of orientation, we were challenged to search for knowledge. It was not an easy adventure, but the university didn't reduce the challenge. Rather, the teachers, the professors, and I celebrate these great professors like Professor Edwards, like Professor Reeves, like Professor Morano, like Professor Walling, and many others who taught us to become great advocates for law, for democracy, and for human rights. I finished in the University of Toledo, convinced that man functions best and highest in a state of freedom. I came back the very last day of 1980 to Nigeria to enter the struggle for liberty. From America, where man lives in freedom and in democracy under the rule of law, to Nigeria, where men and women lived in fear and terror, military terror. I had to make a choice. The choice was for liberty, for democracy, and for the rights of citizens in Nigeria. That effort, my choice to work for liberty, democracy, and the rule of law, led to 3 detentions, one that lasted for 11 months. Eventually, we gained freedom, thanks again to the University of Toledo Law School that joined a number of my friends, men and women of goodwill, to fight for my liberty. Eventually, I was released from detention. My 3rd detention, and then Nigeria also entered a new period of constitutionalism and democracy. I have continued to participate in this process either through advocacy, public issues, writing, and, of course, mentorship in my capacity as a council chairman for my state university. University of Toledo remains a central influence in the story of my time, and I will continue to be grateful as it has continued to support, encourage, in spite of time, seasons, and changes of human condition. I dedicate the recognition, the award, the important selection as Distinguished Alumni, first to my mother, who, having lost her husband, took it upon herself to train me, her only child, at that time. She's dead now, but her memory has continued to inspire not only me, but my offsprings. I also dedicate this important award to my great professors at the University of Toledo. There were times I had difficulties in terms of my school fees. I remember I was given a job by Professor Walling in the library. I also dedicate it to 2 of my most important friends, Michael Frank, who, although saw me, listened to me as a foreign student with accent and an unlikely employee, nonetheless wagered his faith in my ability and employed me as a staff of advocates for legal equality. And finally, to the late Wendell Stanley, who in years of difficulty loaned me money to study. I have many other friends that I want to thank for the role they played in my life. Jim Led, Jim Winchell, and J. Douglas, three young Americans who from September 1972 became an ally in my struggle to get education. I thank you very much, the University of Toledo, for honoring me, for selecting me as the Distinguished Alumni of the great University of Toledo Law School. Thank you very much.